Hey everyone, I am doing an Instagram live. So here I am, waiting for a few people to join. And I'll put on my glasses and see if you can see me. Hey everyone. I literally just wanted to say hi. A few of me wrote to me and asked me when I'm doing a live. So here I am. Hey DC, what's going on? Hola, Brazil. So I'm in Tel Aviv. I'm at my office with a very, very interesting backdrop, but I figured it would be as good a spot as any. And I just wanted to check in. Shalom. Hey, Patrick. And see how you guys are doing. Hey, Renee. Hi. Hi, Mitch from New York. I'm in Tel Aviv. Hey, Greece and Bournemouth. Wow, we got a lot of people from a lot of places. Yeah, I'm in Tel Aviv right now. Hey, LA. What's going on? Pennsylvania, DC, Chicago. This is great. I guess I'm just here to say hello, wearing my new sweatshirt, which I just made with a Sweet Poppy Lane, which you can go to, Sweet Poppy Lane, and you can get one. And I figured I'd wear it today, because a lot of people are feeling like, and rightfully so. Hey, Sweden. Hey, Chana, yeah, get your ass to Tel Aviv. Thank you, Renee. Hey, Canada. And Micha, you saw me speak at a temple in New York City. Please talk about Amsterdam and what's happening on college campuses. Hey, Shara, glad you like the shirt. You can get one at sweetpoppylane.com. What's going on in Amsterdam? The expected. I mean, when you indoctrinate your people with hate and intolerance and you educate them to hate in the millions by irresponsible leaders and bigots and racists like a lot of radical extremist Muslims are taught, and they're in Europe and they're not integrated into society, and they bring with them the culture of hatred that they inherited from their families, which is unfortunately par for the course in most Arab Muslim countries, then that's what you get, and it's only growing in numbers. And when you just let it stay silent and don't tackle it for decades, then it just grows. I mean, I've been seeing it for a long time because I've been advocating for a long time. I think a lot of my new followers don't know that I've been advocating for well over a decade, mainly on Facebook. And you see it. But I think for a lot of people in their Jewish bubble, you know that there's anti-Semitism, but it's reached a critical mass, and that's why this is happening. And I think that the authorities are too confused to do anything about it. Outnumbered. They don't have the force. You have maybe some anti-Semitism, which is ingrained within the culture, possibly. But yeah. And as for university campuses, I mean, Shai and I have been talking about doing a live together for quite a while, but unfortunately his live is not working on Instagram. So I would have loved to have done one with him. And he's been trying to get me on his podcast, Here I Am, for months, but I've kind of like refused to do it unless it's face-to-face, because I don't want to do a Zoom one. So we're waiting to see when we can be in the same city at the same time. But yeah, college campuses, it's the same type of thing. You just let it go unchecked for too long. No, kind of like slapping down the law. No consequences, and this is what happens. So that's where we are, and that's why it's so important to just keep talking, to just keep being vocal, to keep speaking to your friends. Wow, a lot of messages that I've missed. I'm so sorry. What does my shirt say? It says survival is our superpower, and over here on the sleeve it says the Jewish people. So that's something that I just made and put out there from, I don't know if you've seen my banners, which are the Jewish people banners. It's just like simple headlines. It's one of my favorite campaigns, and this was one of the lines, and I've turned it into a sweatshirt so that people can wear it, and it makes you feel better. It makes me feel better. So that's what it is. It's survival is our superpower, and I really love this little touch. So big shout out to Anastasia in LA, designer who just helped me make it, and I'm going to be coming out with more. The thing that I really don't like about Instagram Live is that I can't see all the messages. I have to look down. But hopefully that answers the question. Hartfield, Ohio. Hey, Jasmine. Love the hoodie. I just told you where to get it. Sweet Poppy Lane. Long Island. Survival is our superpower, yeah? Bexy, I'm that Persian Jew who loves you. Oh, thank you. Sending you love from California. Thank you. Love to you too. And I'm just going to go through all these messages and see if there's a question here. I'm just looking at these. You're a great mentor for so many. Thank you. I never know what to say, but I guess thank you. I need to just say thank you. Thank you. Why is the media so silent when Amsterdam occurred on the home of Anne Frank? The news lead was the marauding monkeys. What's going to sell? What's going to sell? I think that's the question. Is it going to be something that speaks to a small percentage of the population like us and what is right? Or is it going to speak to a big percentage of the population and it's wrong? They're going to go for, the media is going to go for the bigger population, the bigger, audience, because with media, it's all about money, at the end of the day. So there you go. Okay, I've taken my glasses off. I'm going to look down. I mean, that's what I think. And I also think that there's institutionalized anti-Semitism, and a lot of people believe the shit that they're reading about us. And Sechana, the anti-Semitism is horrible, but it's the fear and silence. That's the biggest challenge. That's where anti-Semitism goes. There's always going to be haters, but it's the silent of the many that leads to the disaster. And we are facing one, which is why you have to keep speaking up. And I'll give you an example of that soon. Hope is mandatory, yes. Can I order the sweatshirt with writing on the back? No, it's only on the front. Come to Long Island. I wish, if anyone wants to bring me out, and, it requires a plane ticket, it requires, putting me up and organizing it. So, I'm actually coming soon to the States and Canada. More on that soon. Wow, there's so many comments. I don't think I can read all of them. It's just endless. But thank you. I want to tell you a story about a really wonderful man who is a friend of mine who I've spoken about before. And this one is about uncomfortable conversations. So I want you to hear this because it's connected to you and it's connected to your friends. And it's very personal. And so I say this with utmost respect to my friend who is an ally and who is a very good human being. But we had a conversation yesterday about the current bout of the anti-Semitism facing all of us. And he's not Jewish, and he doesn't like, to put it mildly, Donald Trump and everything that he stands for. And I don't want to get into comments here, please, about, how amazing Trump is or how awful Kamala is or vice versa. This is not a political comment. It's just a very good man an American who does not support Trump because of lots of policies that Trump has. Let's just leave it at that. And I can understand him on several things. But what we were talking about was, and he sees the plight of the Jewish people and why so many Jewish people are afraid of what's going on with the current administration. So we're not here to talk politics. Please don't talk politics. The point that I wanted to make was that this morning I woke up to a beautiful post where he put up a post on social media where he wrote quite a lot about the fact that he is against hatred in all of its forms. And it was a beautiful banner with a very nice headline. But in it, he talked about anti-Semitism and how he's against that. And he basically spoke up for the Jews, which is a beautiful thing. And he wanted to make sure that I saw it, and so he sent it to me. And I had to think about how to respond, because in his post, he was clearly standing up for the Jewish people. And what he also did was he said that he's against hate in all of its forms. Like, he brought in the Israeli government, and you can be against the Israeli government and still not talk about Jews. He brought in the Muslims, and against hatred in all of its forms. And I thought that this was so beautiful and came from such a good place. But the issue I had was this, and I've shared this with him already, and I did it respectfully and bluntly, and with a lot of respect. But because this is a good person who's trying to do the right thing. I tried to explain kindly that I appreciate the support, and I do, and it's so important that he's speaking up. But in the wake of what happened in Amsterdam, when so many Jewish people were literally hunted down, beaten, people asked to see their ID papers, someone was thrown into a river, all of these things, and he was kind of like responding to that. The post talked about hatred and about anti-Semitism, but not exclusively. And my answer to him was, my response to him, not my answer. And remember, this is a good man. This is one of my best friends. Was when George Floyd went down, or when there's a blatantly anti-black attack, a racist crime, or when there's a blatantly anti-Asian attack or crime, or when there's a blatantly anti-gay attack, or when it's a blatantly misogynistic attack, then my response is, and always has been, specific to that crime. And so I told him, and this was not easy to do, that it was appreciated and amazing, and he is amazing, and he is, by the way, the guy is just a wonderful human being who just hates intolerance across the board. But it's not specific enough, and that's what I told him. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because that's something that I think a lot of you guys are going through. This is a person who is not anti-Semitic. He loves good people, and he's a friend of the Jewish people. But because of not wanting maybe to rock the boat because there are Muslims and Palestinians maybe in his life, that he doesn't want to offend them. And my challenge with that is, you're not offending anyone when you say that this is wrong, period, and you make it about the Jews. Because again, this is not an anti-Semitic person. This is the complete opposite. This is a person who is an honorary Jew. He's my friend. He has a necklace of mine saying that forever brother to a Jew. You know, he's that guy. He's amazing. A lot of people don't understand why it's hurtful to us. And you have to go to where it's uncomfortable. And you have to have faith in your friends. And you have to not be afraid to have those uncomfortable conversations. Because it's a very uncomfortable conversation, believe me, to think about it. A friend puts up a post which is showing solidarity with the Jewish people and speaking up. But in my eyes, it's the equivalent of an attack on someone who is, I don't know, gay, right? Yeah, Christian, gay. He's a Christian gay man. And I make a post about hate and how that's bad, and I throw in everyone. People don't do that. You know what I'm saying? People usually, it's about the gay person, or it's about the black person, or it's about the specific. That's a very uncomfortable thing to say to someone who is trying to do good. And I think that that is a situation that many of us find ourselves in. Either the silence, or even when someone does say something, it's kind of like trying to, say the right thing, but also be sensitive to other people. And yeah, Brent Mart, what your friend said, as well-intentioned as it was, is the equivalent of all lives matter. Absolutely. Look, a few years ago, 5 years ago, and you guys, a lot of you didn't know who I was, but I'm very active on Twitter. I have around 40,000 very dedicated followers there, which you can join. Not on Twitter, sorry, on Facebook. It's Words by Eitan Tide. It's the same thing, and you can follow me there. I put up a banner, and I did it recently as well, and it said, Black lives don't matter, Buddhist lives don't matter, Hindu lives don't matter, gay lives don't matter. Nothing matters. That's what I said. Unless Jewish lives matter. Now, think about it. 5 years ago, to say black lives don't matter, Christian lives don't matter, Muslim lives don't matter, unless Jewish lives matter. And the thing is, this is a human being who has stellar intentions. The man is exemplary. He's not an anti-Semite at all, the furthest from it. So when a lot of people come out and they say that these people are anti-Semitic or there's a double standard, you can say, there's a double standard when it's someone who's a hater, But you can't say that when it's someone who's trying to show you love. And that's called reaching out. Now, you have to have immense faith in the friendship to challenge someone like that. And I do. And it's a forever challenge. It's not just something that you just have one conversation, that's it, it's done. I mean, we're talking about Trump, we're talking about Kamala, we're talking about Israel, we're talking about black lives, we're talking about everything. And I have enough faith in the friendship to feel that the door is open there for that dialogue. And I'm finding that there is no dialogue. Even us and even us amongst ourselves are siloed into these groups. If you hate Trump that much, speak to someone who doesn't hate Trump. If you hate Kamala so much, speak to someone, a real human being, who doesn't hate Kamala. And I think that's what we were trying to do. We were trying to kind of see where we are similar. Have dialogue. Deborah, you're blessed to have that friendship. I've lost most friends since October 7th and more post. Yeah, but you know what? You don't just lose friends. If you lose a friend over something like this, then I'm not saying then you were never friends to begin with, but I mean it takes an investment. And I feel that the Jewish people need to not only say the things that we're saying, but we need to reach out. We need to reach out to our friends, because there are a lot of friends who are confused. There are a lot of friends who are really not able to understand the complexities of what's going on. There are a lot of friends who don't have the knowledge that we have. they're up against propaganda. And Deborah, I know that you know that, so I hope I'm not being patronizing when I said what I said to you. It's hard. It's hard. The whole thing is hard. I'm looking at some of the content. Yeah, Liz Bowen, not just friends, Eitan, my beloved brother. Look, I've had disagreements with family too. I made a post about it, a video, which I wrote about a family member that within 5 minutes said, I don't want to talk about this with you. And I'm not a go Trump, I'm not a go Kamala either. I'm just not. And I don't want to talk about my politics here. But yeah, even with me, it was after 5 minutes, let's not talk about this. And I said, why? And the person said, yeah, we just won't agree. There's no point. And that to me is someone saying, you're not worth it. And I know it wasn't meant like that because there's love, and everything. But ultimately, this was like, let's change subject about something so important. And so what I suggest is two things, and they won't work unless you do both. If you're faced with hate, real hate, because of your perspective, then there's no point in having a conversation because haters are going to hate, and anyone who is filled with hate is not worth my time. And that's what I believe in. But if you are going to go there, I think that you have to do it in a way which is a reaching out way. It's like, say what you feel, but you have to also shut up and hear what they have to say. So you have to approach a conversation with your, what's important to you, but also with empathy. And empathy is, to me, listening, putting yourself in the shoes of the other person. Like I can tell you that there are people who, whether it's Trump or Kamala, whether it's Israel or Palestine, whether it's Bibi or the opposition, no. That's what we do as a people. And I'm not built like that. I don't believe that we'll get anywhere unless we're open to listening. Now, again, if it's a hater, then fuck off. Just like hate. You can recognize hate or intolerance or someone who's just so siloed, then forget it. But we, the people, not the media, not the politicians, we, the people, have the power to speak to other people in our lives. Now, if you silo yourself amongst each other, then we're never, ever going to get out of this, which is why it's so important to speak, but also to speak from your heart, to also speak facts. When I do stuff, I try and speak to people with facts. But I just know that a litany of facts aren't exactly going to help. Hold on a second. Andy Buckley. Why are you saying hello, Shai? It's Eitan, ya knob. Andy Buckley is wonderful, by the way. Oh, wait a second, because Shai is there. You fucking Shai. Shai, is your live working? Can you borrow Yarden's so we can do this finally? It's weird that this even needs to be said. I don't speak about facts because Shai is here. All right, listen, dumbass. Will you get on? By the way, just so everyone knows, I love Shai like my brother, and so I speak to my people I love like this, like fuck off, Andy, I missed it. Sorry, my bad. Andy, everyone follow Andy Buckley. He's an amazing human being. He's a big advocate. He was in the office, by the way, which I didn't even know. But I've met Andy. He's amazing. So please follow him. Shai, how do we get you a phone so that you and I can talk? But bottom line is facts and empathy and being open. Look, the Jewish people argue. I've said this before, and you've probably heard me say it, but in yeshiva, you debate. That's the Jewish way. You argue, you argue, you argue. And what are you arguing for? You're arguing for the truth. Okay, sent from Yarden, Shai. Let's see if we can do that. I've got nothing so far. Hold on. View request. View request. Yarden. The Shai doesn't hog the show because he has a big mouth and he doesn't stop talking. Let's see. Come on, Shai. Hey, there he
Hey, how
is.
you doing, man?
I'm good, man. So this is not Yarden.
This is
This is
not your
Yarden's.
then. This
This
is
is
me because
Yarden's husband.
Instagram won't let me do live.
Hmm.
People should know probably, but yeah.
Well, it's good to see you. While you were jumping on, I said that we have to keep you in check so you don't hog the show because you have such a big mouth and you don't
No,
stop talking. But
I'm
you know
actually
what?
on the way. I'm on the way out. I promised my son that today is father and son time. Um, I want to give you because I've been listening. I want to give you just like my take on things. I totally agree. I would just say one thing is,
So just repeat what I said for people joining.
yeah. I don't find speaking about the facts helpful. People can go and Google all the facts that they want. I just tell them about my experience, and I urge everyone just go and tell people your experience. Um, you, there's a Omer Shem Tov is a
Mhm.
hostage, and
This is
his
Liat's nephew, right?
Liat's
Yeah,
cousin,
Liat's
Liat
cousin. Yeah, yeah.
Ungar, and she's a great friend now, and she was on my podcast, and she told me about how she can go and speak with people that are supporting Hamas. And, she doesn't tell them about the number of hostages. She doesn't tell them about 2006. She doesn't tell, she just tell them like, let me tell you about my
Yeah.
cousin. And she's like, I want to hear about your pain. I want to hear about what you are seeing, but you care about humanity. If you care about humanity, it's all
Yeah.
humanity. So
I
just
couldn't agree more.
and also with family, like, hey, like, you support Trump, I support Harris, or you support Harris, I support Trump. Let me tell you how it feels, not the facts. Everyone knows the facts.
Well,
That's the
I don't know if I agree with you that everyone knows the facts and that's part of the problem, but I agree with you, of course, on everything. I think that where it gets challenging is that, as we know, the division that is being caused by people who are, well, these are the facts, and they're like, well, no, these are the facts, and then it gets tricky. But I think that what you're saying and the message that you're giving is critical, which is if you want people to care about what you're going through, you have, and this is in a relationship as well. And that's why therapists say, don't tell people what to do, tell people how you feel.
yeah.
And 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 when my friend, and I was talking about my friend, I don't know how long you've been on.
I just
Um,
added after, so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was basically he's a person who doesn't support Trump. And because some of Trump's policies are going to affect him and his family in a very, very bad way, and he's
Yeah.
hurting and he's scared and he's disappointed and he can't. And on the other hand, I was trying to tell him, well, this is why people do like Trump because they're hurt by, for example, and again, we're not getting political. This is a point. It's not about the politics. It's they feel scared because of so you have to meet where with the feelings which I completely agree with and facts. I mean, facts are important too, but it's not, when I see a lot of people just facts and facts and facts and facts, if you're trying to get through to the other side, then you're gonna get them where they feel things, and that's why I completely
Yeah.
completely agree with you.
Can I tell you about two interactions I had this morning? One's
Yeah,
a
of course.
one's not a real interaction. It's just like I went online on Instagram, um, and I saw this very, very, very big influencer in the Jewish world, hundreds of thousands of followers. And this person, I don't want to say who they are because it's not about canceling, it's not about shaming, it's just about the idea. This person has spent the past months just pushing for, a certain, for Trump.
A candidate. Okay, of
And that's fine.
course.
And then, but they're still pushing. And I just went to look at like how many things have they said in the past 48 hours that are political? How many things have they said about the past 48 hours about what happened in Amsterdam?
Mm.
And the ratio tells you everything,
Yeah.
right? The ratio just tells you everything that you need to know. It's like you can be political. You should be political. We should have politics on both sides. But if you're losing the sight of what's important, what important, that's the one thing. The other thing is I just talked with my best friend from Israel. He's been back and forth from Lebanon. Before that, he was in Gaza a lot. And we talked about what happened in Amsterdam, and he has a very different perspective, right? He was like, and that's fine, so and he told me, did you watch this video? And I said no. And so I went on and watched that video, told him to watch some videos. It's all about like just sharing our perspectives. And we have, it's what you do, right? It's like, here's all the facts, but what is the interpretation? You can look at what happened in Amsterdam and say, well, it's only soccer hooligans. That's what the New York Times did. It's soccer hooligans. But then you can also look and say, well, if it's soccer hooligans, they don't plan in advance the attack. They don't attack, every soccer fan. They don't stop attacking fans just because they don't have an Israeli passport, that kind of stuff. But it's all about looking at the facts, but then showing what is your perspective on the facts. And if you're not open to hearing the other side's perspective, you can't even beat the other side because you don't know what they believe in.
I want to also say one more thing, which is when we say the other side, I think it's also important to differentiate that we're not speaking to the haters. The
Oh,
other side is not the haters. The other side, guys, is the middle ground, the people who are maybe confused about what's going on, indifferent. Why do you feel so scared? You have to reach them. And I think that that's the war. The war is to reach the other side, being the middle ground, people who are seeing all of this and don't know what to think. And they are the ones who are most susceptible to the lies, because the enemy, the people who are behind SJP, the people who are behind the the Palestinian narrative that is trying to wipe us out,
the
not the
specific,
Palestinian. Yeah,
yeah, the specific narrative. There's many Palestinian
yeah,
narratives.
exactly. But this particular one, if you want people to not buy into it, you have to engage with them and make them understand how it makes you feel. Now, you have to have facts as well. You have to know your facts. But what do you want to look? What do you want to say right now? Because I think now we're together. I was telling people before that we're trying to get on your podcast, but I refuse to do it
Yeah.
unless we're face to face,
I,
because we need that wrestling. We need
look,
that wrestling cage.
I'll tell
What do
you
you want
this.
to
This is,
say to people right
uh,
now?
it's something that honestly, I want to listen. I have to leave, so I can't, I'll follow up after. But the thing that I have been playing in my mind
Hmm.
is like a game of, if I could go into a time machine that took me back to like 1933 Germany, what would I do? Right? Think about it, like, who would you talk to?
Hmm.
Right? Clearly, I wouldn't talk with a Nazi. I wouldn't, because that's not going to change. So I could either talk to other Jews and raise the alarm, or I could talk to non-Jews and say, like, look what's going to happen. And to me, like, I think that's a question that everyone needs to ask themselves. Like, if you went back to Nazi Germany, would you stay in your echo chamber and just talk with other Jews that are worried and concerned? Or would you do one of the other two things and just choose an audience? I've mostly been focused on getting other Jews to understand what's coming. Other people have been
Yeah, same.
other people are doing amazing work speaking with non-Jews and saying, like, look, it's up to you to stand up, not for us, but for humanity. Um, and and that's what we need to do. But I do want to mention like two other things. One
Of
that's
course you do.
positive before I leave. So I promised my son I'll take him like a day off, just the
Well, you
two of us.
clearly
So one,
don't love your son. I mean, why are you still here? Get the fuck out of here.
so I'll say one. I saw Andy Buckley was here. my son and I spent the morning. I showed him like the best pranks from the office. It just is because we need we can't just complain about the people that are not speaking up. We need to really elevate and appreciate the people that are speaking up, especially if they don't have to speak up, right? Us
Yeah.
Jews, we've been thrown into this, but every time I meet someone who's not Jewish and speaking up, and speaking up might even be just like showing up at a protest, I say like, wow, you chose this fight. Like, thank you. So that's the one thing. Focus on the positive. And the other thing, um, on Friday we had a protest, and we had Ari Exelrod, um, and he talked about him being done with Jewish resilience. He said, "I hate Jewish resilience. Jewish resilience is all about how we are stronger than our haters." And he said, "I am all in on Jewish vitality."
Yeah,
And
I saw that.
and then it was incredible. And then like, and he said like every time we say l'chaim, we need to mean it. So I really do believe like it doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop fighting and screaming, but like we gotta focus on those positive things as well.
I couldn't agree more. Listen, by the way, as you were talking, my son pinged me and said, "Da da 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 da, where are you? I miss you. I want you to come home." So I'm gonna finish this as well. But before we
Where
go,
are
a
you,
l-
by the way?
I'm at the office.
Oh,
I wanted to ask you, and we've talked about this offline, but maybe we can make it public. Your Insta Live isn't working,
yeah,
but a lot of people have written to me and asked me, why aren't you and Shai talking and doing stuff? So I think maybe what we could do is we could maybe schedule a live and we can see how many people want that. And we can schedule live and just have a conversation because I think that these just ordinary person to person conversations from people who are really fighting, I think that we can maybe that'll help some people. I don't know.
yeah.
So
Well,
if anyone wants it, just say yes. And
you're
basically, if I
definitely
get more than, huh?
you're definitely an ordinary person.
I'm pretty fucking ordinary. But honestly, I mean, a lot of people are reaching out and they need, I think maybe just because it's one thing when we write our things, when we do our videos, but a conversation like this, maybe we can even answer questions and literally help people with practical stuff. Okay, a lot of people are saying yes. So I think that's over 10.
Yeah,
So over 10 people. Andy Buckley is still on the line.
yeah.
All right.
Well,
The problem is he said we're both Dunder Mifflin material. What's Dunder Mifflin?
you're so fucking old, man. Dunder Mifflin is the greatest show. It's The Office. That's the
Oh,
paper company.
is that Andy's
No,
character?
and my
I don't
God,
know. I mean, I'm listen. What the? I mean, no. You think I asked to be in this situation? I don't know. Andy. Andy's amazing. I know Andy. Who's Andy? What's Andy? But what's Buck? What's that? What's that name? What's the name of that guy?
uh,
Dufflin, Dender,
Dunder Mifflin
Spender.
is the Dunder Mifflin Paper Company. It's
Oh,
only it's
so you
the
know this story. I told you this story, right?
I know, and you are so funny. And look, it's not like I like look. Here's how I spend most of my time. This is like I'm next to my bed, right? This is like my reading and everything.
It's fucking
This is what I
mess.
read. This is what I read before I go to sleep,
You're
right?
just such an. Why?
Because
Why'd you have to read
because
that?
because this is what I read before I go to sleep. But then also when I wake up and I spend time watching like silly sitcoms with my son, and that you have to have the balance. Eitan, you can't just have like serious.
You think I'm serious? I'm not serious at all.
I think you're pretending to be very serious.
I'm
We're gonna
not serious at all.
we're
But I
gonna
just don't know. I just don't know. I watch the English Office, but
ah
Andy, I have to
because
watch
you're
the other.
so
Because of
because you're
Andy, I
so
will watch the American one. Only
it's so
because of
funny.
him, because he and his wife were just, they were so lovely to me in LA. Listen, you get out of here. I'm going to
I'm
say
gonna
goodbye to
go
everyone as well. And
um
we'll coordinate a live
figure
for
that
everyone.
out.
Do you want to say anything to around 100 people watching?
Just keep fighting. And I do want to remind everyone, online is important, but if we don't show up on the streets, then it doesn't count. So
100%. And by the way, I'm I'm coming to Miami. I'm coming to LA. I'm coming to Toronto and maybe even Montreal, not New York this time.
yeah,
But I'm going to be on the streets. I'm going to go to where it's difficult. And one day you and I will do it together on the streets.
gotta.
Yalla. Yalla, Habibi. Goodbye to
Shavua tov.
everyone.
Bye,
Love you
everyone.
all.
Shavua tov.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Love you. Stay strong. Keep fighting. Chin up. And remember, survival is our